Richard Ashworth, Conservative MEP for the South East. We hear that the French Interior Minister is suggesting that perhaps British police should go to Calais to help in this migrant issue. What do you make of that as an idea?
I wouldn't support that as an idea, but I would say that I welcome the fact that people are beginning to think about long-term joined-up solutions. Actually, British police on French soil would be as welcome as French police on British soil. That's not going to help. But joined-up activity by police forces, for example, tracking down, prosecuting criminal people trafficking gangs would be a big step forwards. Persuading the border agency, Frontex, to do a more effective job, persuading the member state governments that, look, this is a long-term problem, we want long-term solutions. There isn't a quick fix to be made here. And also pressuring to say the legislation which currently covers migrants is really inadequate. It's not fit for purpose and it needs to be changed.
You, I understand, have put together this group of interested parties. Just explain more about what you've done. I mean, that's a significant step that you've managed to get different interested parties together.
I'm convinced that a migrant problem such as we have as Calais can't be focused just on Calais. We have to recognise that it's a truly cross-border issue, and as such we've got to tackle it on a cross-border basis. So I therefore brought together a group of fellow MEPs who have similar problems, similar outlooks, and who are engaged in all stages of the line. So the MEP for North East France will be taking part in the group. The MEP for south of Italy will be taking part. The MEP for Malta will be taking part. I've also got MEPs who are involved in the Justice and Home Affairs Committee who will be dealing with the legislation. I'm getting all those people together to talk about the long-term solutions to a long-term problem, and talking about the ways that we can persuade member state governments to recognise they all have an interest in this. You can't just dump it on the mayor of Calais or on Dover. It's a bigger problem than that. We need to tackle people trafficking crime, which is a truly international crime, and not enough is being done to that. We need to devote more resources to Frontex because it is just appalling, inhumane and unacceptable that so many people are drowning at sea in such a tragic manner, and we need to change the legislation. Wouldn't it be ridiculous if, enacting the current legislation, the French police, took 500 migrants from Calais? If they were exercising their rights, they had every right to take them to Malta and dump them there, which is their first footfall in the European Union. Now that's ridiculous. That's what the law says at present. It's not fit for purpose, it's not working, and the pressure group will force change.
There's a lot that you're then planning on doing with this group. There's a lot of issues you want to raise, but isn't the fact that you've also got an issue with your own government, your own Conservative-led coalition government, given that they recently have decided not to fund extra checks on the seas around the Mediterranean, that's a backward step in itself, isn't it?
Well, we've got an issue with 28 governments. All of them want to sweep it under the carpet.
Well, having said that, other governments are putting forward funding. They are supporting these operations in the south of Europe, in the southern borders of Europe, following up from Italy, ending its own moves because it can't afford to do it on its own. The British government has said it won't support that.
But that's not fair. It's not fair of, say, the British government to say, well, it's Malta's problem, let Malta sort it out, because quite frankly, Malta hasn't got the resources to be able to do that. And we have to recognise it's every bit as much our problem as their problem. So I say, and I say again, all 28 member state governments, if you like working through the European Union, because that's what it's there for, need to take more concerted action. They need to recognise that there is no quick fix to this problem. All the while, you have wealthy countries on the northwest of Europe, and not so far away you have conflict-torn countries like Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, Syria. You will have people who quite understandably want to come to an area where they can live in peace and security. Now, that's not acceptable to have an open door policy and let them flood in. We simply couldn't manage those sort of numbers. But if we're going to counter that, it's got to be much more joined up between all the institutions, all the governments and the European Union taking better action, more effective action.
And a simple question to sum up then, is Calais our problem or is it a French problem? UKIP, we spoke to UKIP a bit earlier and they say this is down to France to sort this out. It's in their jurisdiction.
But by the time migrants arrive at Calais, it's too late. Actually, there was a whole chain which led those people to Calais, and we're just looking at the end result. We need to be more intelligent about this, and we need to get to the beginning of that chain. We need to look at their route all the way through Italy, for example. We need to look at how they cross the Mediterranean. We need to try and persuade the Libyan government and the governments back in the countries they've left that they must do more to persuade people that there is no El Dorado, as it's been described. Britain is not a soft touch. There's no El Dorado for those people to come to. And so try to discourage this traffic from the beginning and also get at the people traffickers, because it's international criminal gangs who are making this possible. And yet the police forces of the member states are doing very little. I've never seen any people trafficking gang or gang leader in a court in Europe yet. Why not? Because they're easy to pick up. Why hasn't that happened?